sports fans? It's your man D back, Speak Your Mind Sports Talk. Alright, check it out, man. Josh Kelly, David Avanesyan. Is Josh Kelly done or just defeated? See, there is a big difference if you're done or if you're defeated. It's a huge difference. You know, when a fighter's done, that's it for them. They either become a gatekeeper, journeyman, litmus test. But in this case with Josh Kelly, a lot of the UK fans out here were dumping on the guy. But, you know, it just goes back to the, first loss, one loss. I mean, are we going to dump on these fighters after one loss? Is this what we're going to do? It appears to me it's not just the American fan base, because Josh Kelly is a UK fan, undefeated fighter, faced his first loss to a more experienced opponent, a guy who's been in there. This is the type of fight that you want to see these young fighters get in and, face adversity. Should they get past it, then, we can say that they're solid and we want to see them keep moving forward. But there are going to be times when these young fighters are not far enough to make it past fighters like David Avanesyan. Does that mean he's finished? And does that mean he's done in boxing? Necessarily, myself, I don't think so. I think that Josh Kelly is not done. I think that he has more to give to boxing. Josh Kelly did need to win this fight to get a fight with one Conor Benn. And Conor Benn is about to embark on a fight with Samuel Vargas. Should he have won that fight, they were going to stage a match with Conor Benn and Josh Kelly. That's probably off the table now. And I'm wondering if Conor Benn will go over there to seek out David Avanesyan. We shall see, which I believe is also an interesting fight, which will be also an interesting fight. But it's safe to say that Josh Kelly and Conor Benn is pretty much off the table. But I think that after the Avanesyan fight, that Josh Kelly still has more to give to boxing. He got a little cocky in that fight, sort of strayed away from the game plan and started, showing off and doing the things that we used to see Josh Kelly do. He was working the jab efficiently and utilizing lateral movement, for the first 4 rounds of that fight. And that's things that we're not accustomed to seeing Josh Kelly do. So it would lead you to believe that if he goes in, gets more disciplined, stick to the game plan, stays focused, when he gets ahead or he finds himself outboxing an opponent, not getting this idea that, it's time for him to loosen up, show off. Because when he loosens up and show off, he's flawed defensively. And this is what we've seen in the fight with David Avanesyan, and he was able to capitalize on that. Hurt Josh Kelly, and Josh Kelly just wasn't able to get back into the fight. So I don't think personally that Josh Kelly is done. I think that this is his first loss. He appears to be a fighter that can definitely gain off of this first loss. He showed massive improvements, if you ask me, from what I've seen out of him last time. And I don't think that this is the end of Josh Kelly. Every fighter is entitled to take a loss. It's how you bounce back off of that loss. What do you do after that loss? I think it could be uphill for Josh Kelly. Wasn't a terrible loss. He got hit in the back of the head with an elbow, which is where all the blood is coming from in this picture here. But even in a rematch, I believe he has a chance to beat Avanesyan because he was winning the fight early on, in my opinion. So shout out to Josh Kelly, man. He took this loss. Maybe he'll get back to that form, get his fans back on his side. At least some of these fans is pretty much bashing him now. Have a good performance against a tough fighter. Styles make fights, guys. And on that night, David Avanesyan just had Josh Kelly's number. He was the better guy, the more experienced fighter. And clearly, Josh Kelly just wasn't ready for this opponent at this stage of his career. But let's see what Josh Kelly does from here on out. See if he improves, gain more discipline, practice on that jab and his footwork, because he showed great improvements in those areas, and I believe it can lead him to be a much better boxer. So just wanted to touch on that fight. Congratulations to David Avanesyan for being the underdog and pulling through and winning that fight. Much respect to him. And y'all know how I always end this thing. For the love of sports, let's talk about it. Peace.